Oh no! Mr. Sauce is back! Yes, I'm gonna drop 2 new sauces. Brand spanking new. One today and one another day. I'm not sure when I'm gonna publish the second one. Chris here, caribbeanpot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Hey, we're doing some spicy notes again. This one here, you're gonna see lime, lemons, and all kind of loveliness inside there. Something we've not touched. Well, I originally did something similar back in 2010, I think. But stay tuned, you're gonna love this one, man. Mr. Sauce says so. First thing we've got to do is to remove the sort of stems from 3 lemons and 3 limes. If you're based in the Caribbean and you cannot get access to these lemons, go with all limes. But what I would do, instead of using 6, I would use 8 instead. So all you would do then, and these lemons were washed really well, and you want to cube it up into 1 centimeter pieces like so. And what I'm going to do is, any seeds that I see, I'm going to pluck out like that. So you want to remove all the seeds. Try not to get rid of too much of the juice into a saucepan. I'll work on that in a second. Same idea with the limes. The limes I have here, no seeds. Now I don't know what kind of monstrosity that is, because the limes I know in the Caribbean all have seeds. So you're just going to cut them up into small pieces like so, and into that saucepan, as I said. 3 limes, 3 lemons, or if all you've got is limes, 8 limes altogether, 1 centimeter pieces. Then into that same saucepan with the limes and the lemons, we're going to go in with 2 cups of just plain old white distilled vinegar. Just plain old white vinegar. We're going to turn the heat up now, turn the stove on, and we're going to bring that up to a boil. You can see tiny bubbles just starting to form. So what I'm going to do at this point, we don't want a vigorous boil or anything like that. The whole idea here, 1, is to flavor the vinegar with that lime and that lemon, and 2, most importantly, to get the skin tender. So I'm going to turn my heat down all the way down to low, and I'm going to allow that to go gently. 20 minutes later, and I'm going to shut my stove off and allow that to sort of steep. We want to drop the temperature all the way down nice and cool so we can handle it safely. But if we look across there, you'll see I have all the other ingredients all ready to go. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 more lemons. We're just going to juice those because we want that fresh lemon juice in there now. We got shado beni, which is also called shado beni or culantro. If you cannot source that, maybe some cilantro, but West Indian markets, Asian markets, Latino markets will have that. A ton of garlic, a variety of hot peppers, as you saw, I picked them fresh from the garden, and a bitter melon. We'll also need, and I'm using sea salt today, but what I'm going to do is juice the lemons for now and put some gloves on. It's very important to put some gloves on and cut up the peppers. Now here I have Scotch bonnet, I've got habanero, and I've got Trinidad Moruga scorpion, and there's a couple other peppers I have. This is not the only peppers I'm using. I'm using close to about 30 to 40 peppers altogether, and I'm mixing in some green ones. This is a green habanero because the flavor profile on this is a lot different than any of these here. And don't forget, it is very important that you wear gloves when handling such spicy peppers. I'm a bit of a pro, you know, they don't call you Mr. Sauce for no reason. But go ahead, cut these up, wear gloves, and wash your hands with soap and water immediately after. This is no joke thing, eh? You want to touch the wrong places, and you will pay the price. Uncle Chris says so. I'm using a food processor today because I find I get a much better consistency because I want it a bit chunky. It is still a bit warm, as you can see, but all of it is going in there. And right away, I'm going in with salt. It may look like a lot of salt, but we're trying to combat the sort of acidity and everything else from the from the limes and lemons. That shado beni, I washed it and I gave it a rough chop. And here we've got those peppers. And I'm gonna have to keep adding more of this stuff as we work it in the food processor here, because I'm doing quite a big batch, because I'm saving some to give as gifts as well too. But you gotta love the colors, man. Just look at that. I had it on low there for about 30 seconds just to break everything down, because we've still got to add the garlic and other stuff to it. So I'm going to strain in the fresh lemon juice. I want to catch all that seeds. Don't want any seeds going in there. Yes, and I did include all of the seeds of the peppers. If you recall, peppers, the seeds, that's where all that heat is going to be. I'm going to go in now with the thinly sliced bitter melon and garlic, and back onto the food processor there. We're going to keep buzzing that and adding peppers. As a matter of fact, let's toss in some more peppers in there, and we're going to keep adding more peppers accordingly. Now the goal is to get something that, well, according to your preference, but in my humble opinion, something a bit chunky, and this is why I'm using the food processor, would be ideal. So this way, when you're eating this pepper sauce, you're getting a piece of that lime and that lemon and the bitter melon and the garlic and everything else, along with the pieces of pepper. But if you want it smooth, you can certainly pulse it or allow it to go all the way until it's completely smooth. Totally up to you, but I'm just going back here on high. You gotta appreciate the color and everything else, and this is the consistency I was talking about. So when you eat this pepper sauce, you know, and you would treat it as any other hot sauce, you know, you will get pieces of that lime, the lemon, and everything else that went in there. Chris here, caribbeanpot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. What you want to do is store these in clean, sterilized glass containers. It will stay on your countertop, because remember, we've got all that acid from the limes, the lemons, the vinegar. It will stay. That's a natural preservative there. You don't need to add any sort of chemicals to it. It will stay in your kitchen, on your kitchen counter, cool, dry place, for about a month or two, and then you want to store it in the refrigerator. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Remember, I have a second version of the same thing coming out in the next few days, alright? Mr. Sauce signing off. Irie? Irie.